Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talk. So in this video I'm going to go through the updated wildcard side I did for game week 31. I did one at the start of the international break. I put one together, we went into a deep dive statistical analysis of the players. I think I've had a little bit more time now to reflect on the fixtures, the form of the players. I've taken in a lot of different opinions from the FPL community. I have changed my mind about one or two players. I'm not going to go into a huge deep dive in this video going through the statistical analysis we did in the original one. If you want to check that out, go and have a look. I'll put in a link in the description below. But otherwise, there's a couple of changes and I want to whiz through them for you to have a look. We'll also look at just the pros and cons. Maybe try and convince you not to wildcard. Obviously, it's going to be team dependent. We'll have a look at the reasons why we should wildcard and any future changes and what the benefits might be of putting you off a little bit. So if you like the video, hit that button, subscribe if you're new around here, and let's jump into it. Game week 31 then for a wildcard team. Let's have a look at the reasons why you might be tempted to wildcard. Obviously, it's all team dependent. Only you will know the situation of your team and your strategy in terms of free hits in the future. Also, which players are available, which ones aren't. You may, in fact, have someone like a Jimenez who's out, Reece James. You might be holding on to him and he's going to come back. There might be doubts over Trent. You might be a situation where you are forced into a wildcard. For whatever reasons, you could still wildcard now and hit those double game week fixtures for 31 and 33. Hit them pretty hard and avoid having to free hit in those weeks, or at least 33, and then possibly attack 36 with your only remaining free hit if you have one. Aston Villa, Leeds and Wolves, of course, all blank, so you could still somehow, if you're holding on to Leeds players, or Wolves players in particular, a lot of people will have, okay, it's time to get rid of that deadwood and bring in a new side. The wildcard team then, we have two teams doubling in 31. That doesn't look all that appealing. It's Everton and Burnley. 10 teams though doubling game week 33, so we could set up for that. The original wildcard side I had, which I'll show you in a minute, had 4 double game week players for 31 and 9 double game week players for 33, so you could certainly hit that hard. Reasons not to wildcard, and I'm not suggesting that this is a good week or a bad week. I don't think it's definitely a bad idea to wildcard. It just is so. It seems like a cop-out, but it's so team dependent. You have Manchester City and Liverpool playing each other in game week 32. So the reasons not to wildcard in 31, even though Liverpool and Man City have very good fixtures going into that game in 31, it just feels like those two teams you don't really want to be attacking Manchester City players and Liverpool players when they're going to be playing the following week. So possibly could you not hold off a wildcard until maybe even 34 when the double game week is passed in 33, when neither of these sides will be doubling. The other thing as well to consider is that at the moment, Reece James, Trent, both are uncertain. Reece James is back in full training, we know that. Trent apparently is in a race against time to make the Manchester City game. So already consider the fact that he won't be making the Watford game. That's a blow. Reece James, obviously he's played very few minutes. You think about the Chelsea and the fact that perhaps the league's not the priority for them at the moment. Will he be risked in that game at home to Brentford? So not wildcarding now gives you more information for those two players. Bring them in and let's say again game week 34 or even earlier if you want to, does allow us to then see Trent and Reece and get them in. They are a bit of an unknown at the moment. Bringing them now is risky, but they're two players you definitely would want in the future. It may be also that actually your team's not too bad. A lot of us will have heavily owned Arsenal players, we'll have Liverpool assets and heavily owned Tottenham players. So their fixtures aren't looking too bad over the next few weeks. So is there really need to wildcard at the moment? Only you can decide, but these are different reasons why you would and wouldn't wildcard. I think if you could get through the next few weeks, set yourself up for 33, I think it would be a good idea to try and hold on to that wildcard for 34. By that point as well, you will know some of the double game weeks and the rest of the fixtures for 36, and it'll make things easy to plan. Even if you've got a bench boost or something like that, you could set up for that. But again, I don't think it's a bad idea wildcard in the 31, and we'll have a look at the team again that I put together before. But I do think there's a lot of advantages to just holding off for a few more weeks if you can. Here's an original wildcard side that I did at the start of the international break. We had Pope and Schmeichel in goal. I was pretty set on that. I quite like Tierney. We had Reguilon and Cancelo looks like a good shout as well. Robertson, just because he's a safer option. I'm not sure over the longer term, much would prefer Trent. Over the shorter term, I'm quite happy to take a punt. I think Robertson could quite easily outscore Trent nonetheless. Rudiger, because he was quite a safe option in that Chelsea defence. Midfield, Saka was absolute non-negotiable. Maddison, like him for the rearranged fixtures, he would be on the bench, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Saka absolutely comes in. Cornet and Odegaard are in there. Kane, Broja and Weghorst up front. Very difficult with forward options at the moment who to pick. But I've had a few different thoughts. I mean, the way this would set up, I think, for the game week 31, definitely I've got Cornet, I've got Pope, I've got Weghorst all doubling. Not keen on any Everton assets, if I'm honest. I've got Odegaard, Maddison and Broja on the bench. It's a tough one, really. You've got a really good side there. It's difficult to know who to play on the bench. The cost of this is 103.1. In the bank, I would have 0.1. You might have more money to play with. Who knows? So you could upgrade some of these options. But over the last few weeks, I've just really saturated. I've already wildcarded, so this was just me sort of indulging myself for you guys, really, I suppose, to see what sort of wildcard team other people came up with. And I was convinced in the end to make a couple of changes. So this would be the changes on my side. Some of it I like, some of it I don't know. I'm just not so keen on. I thought Kai Havertz, for me, it's just... I'm convinced he's got to come in. His underlying stats look brilliant. His fixtures look great. I'm to Brentford this week as well. He's a midfielder nailed on up front, it seems, for Chelsea. He's just a preferred number 9. I just really like him. I think he's got to come in. The problem is you do have to make some concessions and sacrifices. Reguilón comes out and Davis comes in for 4.4. There is a flag on him, so again, we just need to keep an eye on that. Doherty's not much different, but again, if you've got more money, possibly go up to that. Cornet, I've just fallen out of love with a little bit. I think he comes out, and obviously Havertz comes in. The other one, Odegaard, have to drop him down to Gordon to save another million, and that's bang on the money. But I just think Gordon with the double game fixtures he could easily be someone to look at. He's probably one of the best Everton assets, and he's one of the cheapest as well. So he's an enabler as well as anything else, having his 2 games as well. And Havertz, I just love the idea of Havertz. Bit of a differential in there at the moment as well. Midfield, playing up front for Chelsea. I just think their fixtures, they're in good form. I don't think you can go far wrong with that. The other thing as well is that I really got to put in mind is future plans. James, I just think James has got to come in at some point. Now, he is in full training. We've got to wait for press conferences. It could be an easy move from Rudiger to James. But I'm not sure about bringing him straight in this week. I wouldn't want to bring him in and then put him on the bench. The problem is, obviously, you're booking yourself in a transfer. If he's fit and Tuchel gives us some indication that, yeah, he'll play, he needs to get back into the swing of things. They need the game rhythm, whatever they want to call it. He needs to get minutes under his belt. Then, yeah, I'll be absolutely bringing him in because I think he's an absolute must. The other one I want to talk about, and just a kind of complete differential, is Matip. He obviously just doesn't offer anywhere near the attacking options as Robertson or even Trent does. But if it was interesting, I just thought he's played something like 17 out of 19 games or something ridiculous. He absolutely looks really solid in that Liverpool defence, who are keeping lots of clean sheets. You're not bringing him in for anything else other than that. But 4.9 is really cheap. If you moved from a Robertson to a Matip, you saved 2.3, and I kind of wanted to just show you what difference that could make to your side. Suddenly, you've got 2.3, potentially you might have more, to play with by having Matip in there. Granted, you're not having that attacking threat. So this is just an idea. I'm not saying that this will be something you'd definitely go for. I just think it's something to consider. Matip looks like a good option. If you could double up, you could go from a Rudiger or a Teenit and put Matip and Robbo in there. I wouldn't be totally against that. But 2.3, that saves you. Suddenly, you can bring Reguilón back in. You can have Cornet instead of Broja. Cornet instead of Gordon. So you've got those double game week players as well. And Broja comes out if you wanted to upgrade from him. His minutes certainly aren't guaranteed at Southampton. And you could have someone like a Chris Wood up front. You've still got money in the bank there. So you could, I think, even with this side, suddenly go from a Reece James. You could go from a Reguilón to a Reece James. Double up on the Chelsea defence. So I just want to kind of show you Matip is not someone that I've completely... No one's talking about him much. I do think he doesn't offer a huge amount of attacking returns, but he offers a way into that Liverpool defence. It's really cheap. I do quite like the idea of Matip. I certainly haven't ruled it out yet. I think I'll go through my transfer plans tomorrow when I look at it, but I think we need to keep an eye on those press conferences from Tuchel, because if James is anywhere near fit, as perhaps he should be, and he may be getting game time, very tempted to put him in. Saves transfer down the line, bring him in, even if it means benching him this week. But I really like that. Otherwise, Trent, I'm just not sure he's even... If he doesn't make this week and potentially he's not, do you then want to bring him in for the Man City game? possibly free hitting a lot of people in 33, so I don't know, is it worth then bringing him or saving him until game week 34? In which case Robbo might be a better one to go for because it's just one clean transfer to him unless you're taking Cancelo out, but I do think Cancelo is worth it for those long-term fixtures as well. But there you go, guys, there's a few different options for you. That's all for this one then, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the wildcard video, found it useful. Let me know of any changes that you are doing. Do you intend on wildcarding this week? Are you prepared to put it off a few weeks? Who would you bring in? Any players that you would rather have in that side? Don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe. We'll come out to you with some team selection videos coming out possibly tomorrow night. In the meantime, take care. Good luck. Speak to you soon.